Welcome back to the Salon Owners Collective podcast. I'm Larissa, your host, and today I want to talk about something that every successful salon owner will face many times over, and that is becoming the bottleneck to your own growth. Today, I want to cover how to know that it's happening to you, what the leadership ladder is, the most common trap that salon CEOs make, and what real leadership looks like. And finally, the CEO shift that you need to make. Today is going to be a goodie. So let's start with, how do you know if it's happening to you? So, number one, if you are feeling overwhelmed. Now, overwhelm really comes from too much going on in your brain, no longer feeling in control, like you're doing all of the clients or a lot of your own clients. You're managing and leading the team, you're doing the hiring and the firing, and you're running the team meetings, or not, as the case may be. You're leading a manager, you're managing operations, the GST, you're paying the bills, you're doing the wages. That's a good definition of feeling overwhelmed. All of the things. It leaves you feeling overworked because you're trying to do it all. And probably, my best guess is that you're working more hours than any human should work to keep sane. This often means that you're right on the edge of burnout, feeling like you're just hanging in there and you're winging it. And it also means that you're probably feeling underpaid for the effort that you're putting in, because growth has flatlined, expenses have rocketed, probably because you grew and then you flatlined. And that means that profit margins, even maybe your wages, what you pay yourself, are getting squeezed tightly. So if that sounds like you, you've probably just hit a growth plateau. And the good news here is that it's completely normal. Growth doesn't happen in a straight line. The only people that believe that growth goes in a linear straight line are the people that don't own a business. It actually is the shape of a staircase. So you grow and then you flatline, and you grow and then you flatline again. Like, this is normal. This is not that you're failing. You're just growing. And the flat line is just going into the gap. And it happens to the best of us. It's actually a really important part of the growth journey, because you can't just keep growing and growing in a straight line, because you'll hit your head on the ceiling, you'll bump into a brick wall. And so it's better that you flatline and be able to catch up with yourself. It's a really important part of the process. I have hit at least 5 bottleneck burnouts. I'm going to call them bottleneck burnouts. Like, we flatline, I become the bottleneck, and I reach a little bit of burnout. And that happened to me 5 times while I had my salon, and a few more while growing this very company, Salon Owners Collective. It's just part of the growing journey. It doesn't make it any easier. And in fact, I had another episode, and I call it an episode because it's like a full-blown entrepreneurial migraine, and like when you run too hard, you run out of breath. Like, if you're doing a sprint, you run out of breath and you need to stop. And if you run out of breath before you finish the run, it just means you need to change your training routine. You need to get fitter. You need to grow. You need to learn. You need to level up. And you need to become the person that you need to become to be the person that runs the company at the next line. Like, you need to be fit enough to run the 100-meter sprint, and you need to be fit enough to then run the 200-meter sprint. And then if you want to do a marathon, it's a different level of fitness. So each time you need to level up, you need to train differently, learn new skills, become the person that you need to become to operate the business at a new level. And you have to do the growing and the leveling up first, and the business will follow. So what you do when you're flatline and you have the stuck, the burnout, the growth plateau become the bottleneck, what you do when you recognize that you have that determines how quickly you'll climb back into growth. Like, back into working less, actually not more, back into being paid more, not feeling broke, and feeling free because you're working less and you're more clear. So today I want to show you how to step up the Salon Leadership Ladder, get out of your own way, and start leading like a CEO again, because it feels better. It feels nice. It's like being in momentum, and it's easy. No, easy is not good. Easy is not true. You're in flow. All right. So, what is the leadership ladder? Think of the leadership ladder as your leadership model. I like to think of it as a bit of a triangle, and it's based on the Salon Mastery Roadmap for scaling your salon without scaling your stress. But the leadership ladder is about who you are as the leader and what role you need to have and who you need to have in your team at each of the stages of growth. And there are 4 stages of growth. There's the operator, the manager, the leader, and the CEO. And after the CEO, there is the enterprise level, but I'm not going to talk about that today because as you move up, your role, your team, your focus, the amount of freedom that you have completely changes at each stage of the business growth. And so let's see if you've outgrown where you're currently at, and maybe that's why you've hit a bottleneck. Not because you're a bad business owner or that you just can't handle it or it's not made for you. It's just that you've hit the typical bottleneck, and these are the stages that it typically happens. And so if you're at an operator level and maybe you're feeling some pain, it's because you've actually stepped into the manager stage of business growth because you used to be able to walk up to your team and walk past them in the hallway and have a quick chat, have a quick update, and everyone just followed along. There was only 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of you. But then something changed. Now there's 4 or 5 or maybe 6 of you, and you're feeling like something's just a little bit off. The culture is off. The team maybe are feeling a little bit grumpy, or somebody left, and that left a bit of a bad feeling in people's mouths, or maybe somebody's threatening to leave. You've just got that feeling that somebody is kind of on the way out. Maybe there's a bit of pressure to pay people better, set clearer targets, fix the daily drama. And if you're running the show, but you're actually drowning in it, that's a signal that you've outgrown the doing it all phase. And it's time to strengthen your leadership and management muscle. Become the manager. Because at this stage, you are the manager of the business. You're no longer the operator who can get away with serving clients all day and just 1 or 2 or 3 people around you will just kind of mimic and follow your lead. You need to now intentionally step into being the manager. And one of the ways to do that is that we can tick off, can I attract clients on demand and get growth in this business from the team, not from you as the individual contributing revenue on the floor. This is the stage that you need to create a good pay structure. This is a clear structure that everybody knows and understands. It's open, talked about. It's not a secret. Not everybody's on a different pay structure. And this is the time to create the framework of a career pathway. Because without that, you'll lose good people. This is the stage that you want to be really intentional about your culture. And when it's just you and 1, 2, or 3, you can just be the culture by being yourself, and that's enough for people to take on board by osmosis. You don't have to talk about it too much. But once you start having a team that's at the 4, 5, and 6, you really need to be a little bit intentional about that. You can't just wing that anymore and just be a great human and everyone will follow along. This is also the stage that you need to build good financial salon systems. We call it the profitable salon because the systems at this stage of the business growth for you to go from operator to manager will give you the scaffolding that you need to hold the business strong without it all being on your shoulders and feeling like a heavy weight, because that's what will lead you to burnout. And so you need some scaffolding to manage the people. So systems and processes will manage the people and help you keep all the things together so you don't go crazy. Maybe you already recognize that you are at the manager stage and that you have some of those systems and processes. You've got the profitable systems, you've got a career pathway, you know how to pay your people properly and how you do business inside the business is systemized. And maybe you've actually already in the manager's level and maybe you've stepped up to the leader phase of business. So maybe you've already nailed the basics, but the cracks are going to start to show again. And you'll know this if you notice that there's a low level of trust between you and the team, either from your team to each other or from you towards them. Like maybe you don't trust your team to do the work, show up on time, serve the clients, but maybe you've got that feeling. Do you know that feeling on your shoulder? Like they don't really trust you. And there's a bit of a them and a bit of it like me and them, us and them vibe. And it's not because they don't care. And it's not because they don't yet have, it's not because you don't care. It might be because you don't yet have the tools to lead them. And when I mean by tools, the leadership tools, you're still pushing too hard to get them to play along. Maybe they don't see the vision, your vision. And you have to push too hard for them to be self-led, like they're you-led, not self-led. And you can't seem to scale past this point. Like there's a certain point that you can get to, and then the good people leave, you know? And you're flatlined because you train the people up and they stay for a certain amount of time, and then your best people leave. They finally become profitable, and then they're off. They've outgrown you. Because retention of great team members now becomes the roadblock to your growth. And this phase isn't about systems anymore. This is about people and your ability to lead, to learn, to coach, and to create culture where people grow with you. People will always leave you when they run out of future in your business. And if they look over the fence and it's greener on the other side, you know this is an opportunity for you to grow and to level up. And maybe they've outgrown where you're at in the stage of business that you're at. And so then it's time for you to step into your true leadership, like build trust and respect as a leader. People will always follow respected leaders. So this is the stage you want to focus on developing top talent. It's also the stage that you want to hire a salon manager, or maybe you want to hire a front of house or operations manager, depending on what part of the business you actually love being in. If you love being on the floor, then maybe you can hold the floor of a floor manager who looks after the daily serving of the clients and making sure that, quote unquote, the floor or the rooms run efficiently, and you've got someone running operations and client management out the back. But maybe you want to be that person. You love to be operational and you love to be based at front of house, and you need a floor manager or a salon manager, because it's time to set yourself free through leading great people. So maybe you recognize that you already have a manager in place. Maybe you've got a front of house person as well. And you're actually leading, like the people are buying into your vision. They are following you, happy and smiling. You've got good culture. You've been quite intentional about that. And maybe you've got a team. You've got that team leadership down pat. But now the roadblock isn't the chaos. It's probably stagnation. And you're feeling a little bit like you're 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. Like you've achieved so much, but something feels undefined. And maybe, or often, what it is, it's your purpose. And maybe it's your next move. Like things have going really well, everything's in place, all the goals that you set for yourself, you've achieved. I remember reaching this point myself. I've set the goal. The business is bigger than I ever imagined. It is operating, it's more profitable, it's more systemized, and it literally doesn't need me. Like, what's next for me? And if you don't have that, then purpose becomes the next roadblock to your next step. But also, maybe you're still too involved in the day-to-day. You have the big business, and you don't have the leadership in place because you now become the bottleneck because you're not clear on where to from here. And so the goal here is to fully step into CEO mode where the focus shifts from doing to designing the future. So really the focus needs to be on developing your leadership team so you can focus on scale. And your focus now is to review and refine the systems to keep the machine moving, stop reinventing the wheel. Because I remember a time when I recognized in myself, like I'm working in on the business 15 hours of the week. I come in with a shiny new object because I'm bored and I don't have clear purpose about what's next. I haven't decided, am I going to sell or am I going to duplicate? Because I know I'm going to choose one of those things. And without a clearly defined future, you can get in the way by reinventing the wheel or taking the business off to random places or deciding to depart too quickly. Like I'm going to go and be an educator for somebody else and go and get a different job. Hey, been there, done that too. The goal now at this phase actually is to optimize operations, get out of operations, like you're not doing the do anymore, you're just leading the team who run operations. And the goal here also is to optimize for profit. Once you're at $1 million plus and you're in that CEO role, you really want to optimize for profit, not just adding more cherries on the top, adding more to the mix. Simplicity scales, complication fails. So then you might ask, well, what is next? Do I sell? I've moved myself out of daily operations. Do I multiply? Do I become an enterprise owner? And so if you are really have removed yourself from the business and you are a true salon CEO, the question is going to come, do I want to ultimately scale the business, multiple locations? That is the question. Or do I sell and go and do something else? There's no right or wrong answer here. But in the enterprise phase, growth comes from replicating systems and processes, and leadership now it becomes in layers. There are multiple players in the leadership layer, and it's about systemizing everything and developing great leaders to lead with you and for you. Like, who can grow the business without you in the room? I have this rule for this phase is not to diversify until you have proven. What I mean by diversify is like not to have multi-sites until you've proven that you can grow one business to the $1 million that can run, operate, be profitable without you needing to be there. And my benchmark was always, can I be absent for 6 weeks and nothing will fall apart? Everybody has got all of the moving parts, and I've got a good leadership team. I had 4 people in my leadership team, and I could leave. And I chose to stay because I loved the business, but I could leave and I wasn't really needed in any daily operations. I didn't need to be there. Too many great salon owners open a second salon way too soon. And unfortunately, it can be way too fatal. All right, let's switch now to the common trap that salon owners fall into and get stuck, because they often get stuck being the manager at the manager stage. And if you are at the manager stage, you're probably answering 500 questions a day. You can't take the week off without all the chaos. You're managing and you're not leading. And I remember the day that I switched from managing into leading, and the phone stopped ringing, or my text stopped texting, and I felt really lost. Like I was lost. I'm like, what is my purpose now? Nobody needs me. What do you mean nobody needs me? And as a parent and as a business owner with 30 staff, I was needed all the time. That was a really important part of my identity. And when that went away, I was a little bit lost, I have to admit. So I think the biggest mistake here is that thinking that hiring more stylists or therapists or working more hours is going to fix the problem, but it won't. It won't fix the problem. You are the bottleneck, and you don't need more hands. You need more leadership. And so I want to spend a little bit of a moment talking about like what is real leadership, because it's different to management. What does it look like? Because real leadership is not about doing more. It's about delegating responsibility, not just tasks. So I want you to think about that for a moment. If you're delegating tasks, now there's a time and a place in the developmental stage of each team member that you have to delegate the task before you can delegate the leadership. Okay, so delegating is an art and it's a skill. But ultimately, for you to be free, you need to be able to delegate responsibility, not just the task, and then you still hold the responsibility. This is going to hold you back. And so that means giving really clear outcomes and saying things like, this is what I want you to achieve, and letting the right person co-create with you, like the plan to get there. It's not your way or the highway anymore. And then trust them to implement it. So your goal then is to set the destination, and they build the path, right? Real leadership also means creating systems so people can perform without you. So it might be something like, today, I have a new operations manager. She's in her 4th week. She is amazing. And my world is changing rapidly. But today she said, Larissa, we need to buy some more equipment for the office. and I need this and I need that and yada, yada. Would it be okay? What do you want to do? Do you want to fix the old stuff or do you want to buy some new stuff? And I thought to myself, this is not a decision for me to make. This is going to hold me back in decision making. So I said to her, I'm going to give you a budget and we'll have a little system. And you can decide this. Like, you know that the keyboard is broken and there's a couple of keys missing. You know what we need. I'll give you the framework. So I gave her the budget and I gave her the authority to make the decisions as she saw fit. She's the one that can talk to the team members, look at their equipment and decide what it is that she needs. And so that is how you free yourself from being the bottleneck, not needing to make all the decisions, but you do need to create the framework and say, this is the budget, this is how long the budget should last, this is how many people. I give them all of the information. And let them free. All you need to do is make sure that they do the things within the system, build the trust, and then you can trust and go, I know that Jess is going to do the things because I trust her. I've seen her win several times. Now I'm free of that. And I trust that she'll come to me when the system's broken or we've outgrown the system or she runs out of money or some problem comes up, that she will bubble that up to me. All right, last but certainly not least, I want to speak of the CEO shift, because to scale beyond each stage, you must intentionally stop being the bottleneck, move past being the manager and the task delegator to the leader and the one who creates the system to let the people free. It's a little bit like, putting the lines on a sports field, whether it's netball or whether it's football or whether it's rugby. Do you know there are lines on the pitch? And those lines give the rules of the game. And then the coach can just be on the sideline and let the players play. That's how you move past manager and into being leader. You need to lock those systems in so you can lead into the CEO stage and level up your leadership tools. Really, hiring the salon manager or hiring the right one is super, super important. I would rather you had no manager than have the wrong one, because the wrong person can set your business back for years. I've experienced this multiple times over. You pick the wrong person, give them too much leadership responsibility too early, and it holds you back. And so the right person at the right time and not too quickly. And what that comes down to is the right person at the right time will be quicker. The wrong person at the wrong time will take a long time and will hold your business back for a long time. All right, so the goal here is for you to move past the CEO into whatever is next for you, whether it's scaling or becoming an enterprise owner, or maybe it's selling, whatever that is next for you. That is the goal. And so to do that, you need to let your team lead, refine your scalable systems and your leadership, because you need to become the new person to run the new level of business. So invest in your leadership, yours and your team's, so you can fully step into that CEO seat. Remember, leadership isn't about managing people. It's about developing them to make good decisions without you. That's how you get the freedom to go on the holiday or to be at home with your children. And the moment you stop doing it all yourself, you can finally start scaling the business. So if you're ready to stop being the bottleneck and start leading like a true salon CEO, well, let's build that leadership plan. I would love to do it together. I only work with 5 owners at a time, and I'm enrolling for January 2026 now. So if you're doing 10K a week or more and you want to scale and grow, and maybe you want to scale and grow to the $1 million mark, like you want to double revenue, maybe you're already at the $1 million mark and you want to optimize operations, get out of operations, optimize for profit, this is my invitation to book a strategy call, and let's have a conversation. We'll map up. First, we'll recognize what stage that you're in. We'll map up the stage that you need to move into. We'll do an analysis of what are the systems and processes that are missing at the stage and phase of business that you're in right now, so you can take that next level of growth, wherever it is that you're at right now. So that's my invitation to you, and don't let success wait another year. That's a wrap from me. I look forward to seeing you same time, same place on the podcast next week. Ciao from now.